memorial to all those people who died in 1798. That was the time that the French Revolution was happening. It could also have been a time of great poverty and famine here in rural Ireland. Time passes and we pass with it, oftentimes without a trace or even a name on the book of time as others read it. Others do pass and leave a name. In school days, I was much struck by one poet in particular. It was one of the great ones that we had in England in the 19th century, John Keats. He was a medical student, but abandoned his medical studies so as to devote himself entirely to poetry. But his brother was dying of tuberculosis and he was nursing him, and one day he himself coughed blood and realized what that meant. It was rather like the bell in that by now defunct church. It was his knell, and he heard it before it rang. And so he wrote these words, knowing full well that his brain, with all it contained, was going straight into the silence of the tomb. He had a fiancée, Fanny Brown, whom he loved dearly, and he knew also what it meant for her. And here he penned these heart-rending words. When I have fears that I may cease to be before my pen has gleamed my teeming brain, before high-piled books in charactery hold like rich garners the full ripened grain, when I behold upon the night's starred face huge cloudy symbols of a high romance, and think that I may never live to trace their shadows with the magic hand of chance. And when I feel, fair creature of an hour, that I shall never look upon thee more, never have relish in the fairy power of unreflecting love, then on the shore of the wide world I stand alone and think, till love and fame to nothingness do sink. When in Rome, I wasn't that far from his body, for to try and get some measure of ease and even healing, he went, like others, including Byron, to Rome for the sake of the heat. But he died there in what is referred to as the Protestant graveyard. That is, he's buried there. And I wrote these to him as a student in Rome. Lines written near the tombs of Keats and Shelley. And of course the words are taken from his own work. To leave a word that will be heard a while when we have ceased to be. To be beyond the shore of this wide world, and yet beguile the thieving death moth and the eerie wand that struck ere pen had gleaned the teeming brain. To stand very still where stillness stands, against the rush of passing, and again be heard without a voice, but only hands. This is to hold a second in its course and bid it hold an aeon. 'Tis to call the unknown passer-by to intercourse of soul with lying soul that has said all. This is, my friend, to hold on to the end of youth and beauty that no time can mend. This remembers also the hidden saints of Ireland who prayed with great simplicity in the old churches, some of which have been replaced by new ones.